Today we're really tackling some topics that many people think about, like what would I like to achieve? Or what do you think is holding you back from achieving those?
Right. Well, Ann Fish is here to tell us that maybe taking a risk will make 2016 your best year yet. Ann, welcome to the show today.
Thank you. It's a risk, but I'm here.
It's a risk just being here. I love it.
Right.
And I think it's great. We were talking about a couple other risks. Commercial break. I don't want to spoil it, but let's start off by talking about what does that really mean? What is taking a big risk?
Well, taking a big risk is different for anyone, for everyone. I interviewed a gentleman who not only climbed Mount Everest 3 times, but he snowboarded down. And I said, so Stephen, what is the riskiest thing you've ever done? Do you know what he told me? Having children.
Oh.
Now, the epitome of a risk taker would be Donald Trump. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
And the Donald is risked in business and other ways in his life, and yet here he is now risking to be president of the United States. He's risking his reputation, time, and money. So it's risk is different for everyone, but it is the potential for loss as opposed to the potential for gain. So what are we going to gain by taking that risk? Whatever that risk is in your life.
Okay, so when we've decided whatever it is that we're willing to risk or is a risk for us, is there something maybe we should avoid when we're thinking about this is what we're going to do?
Absolutely. There are 3 key things that you really need to avoid when taking a risk. The first is not to overthink it. The second is not to second guess it. And finally is not to quit. So when I say don't overthink it, think of the thinker, which was Rodin's sculpture. And he's still sitting there thinking about taking a risk. If we overthink it, I say we get into what's called analysis paralysis. You analyze something to death, you will never end up jumping, taking that leap. The second mistake is the Sully situation, okay? Sully, Captain Sullenberger, when he landed that aircraft on the icy waters of the Hudson River, he didn't have a chance to second guess himself. He put it down, even though at the airport they were saying, you need to come back and land on the runway. He said, I'm ditching, and he saved 155 people's lives that day because he didn't second guess. And the last one is don't quit. And Winston Churchill said, you know, never, never, never give in. You just have to keep going for whatever that is that you'd like to accomplish.
I love it. This is all great advice. We're looking to take that smart risk. And actually, you have a formula that I think we just had up, so we'll bring it up again.
Okay, great.
Tell us about your formula for taking risks.
Well, the first is the R, and that's recognizing an opportunity. That's setting a goal, having a vision of where you want to be. Where are you headed? The second step is the I, investigate. Educate yourself. What is it going to take for me to get to the summit? What do I have to do? The S, learn the skills. Stephen had to learn how to snowboard, obviously, first before he climbed Mount Everest, but he had to learn all those skills that would take him to the summit. And finally, K, know your abilities. You have to know what you're capable of. And if you get in over your head, you also have to know when to turn around.
Well, and I think hearing, you know, real life accounts that we're kind of talking about Sully, we're talking about, you know, Trump, you know, all that stuff kind of gives us an idea of what we're really talking about. Do you have maybe a personal story of your risk?
I do. So when I was 14 years old, I decided I wanted to be the female James Bond. I was going to be in the Secret Service. And I did follow my risk formula, followed everything, did everything I needed to do to achieve that goal. And yet, when I was 22 years old, after I had passed the Treasury Enforcement Agent exam, after I had done 4 interviews with the Secret Service, the agent in charge said, Ann, it's great, you have great qualifications, but you either need to be a police officer for a year or you need to speak a foreign language. And my risk is I bought a one-way ticket to Spain, and I moved to Spain to become bilingual in Spanish.
Wow.
That's incredible.
But I love that. I love that kind of story.
Yeah. So you did it.
I did it. I came back after 2 years. I was planning on staying 1. I came back to the United States after 2 years, bilingual, and the Secret Service said, okay, come on. And I said, I think I'm having too much fun traveling. That's about when my parents had a coronary. But nonetheless, I moved to Mexico and started working in sales and marketing, and my life has taken me since to 7 countries, 5 years living overseas, and speaking 3 languages. So
that's incredible. And that's just really just one example of a big risk that you took. We were talking about you're newly married.
I am newly married for the first time.
For the first time,
47.
which is amazing.
Yeah, right.
And also a very big deal, you have a book coming out in February.
I do. My book is called Risk Formation, which is a word that I came up with. It is the transformational power of taking risks. So it's a kind of a how-to book, how to take a risk, what you need to do, what you need to watch out for. And it comes out in February. If you log into my website today and opt in with your first name and your email address, we will send you a free gift today, and that'll kind of get you started for the next 30 days until the book is released. It'll also alert you to when the book comes out. So
I think that's great. I feel like you and I have both have taken big risks in our lives to get
Definitely.
where we're at, you know, whether it's career-wise, love-wise, whatever it is. So this is going to be great. I would say the worst decision you can make is not making a decision. Just make it and go for it. I say that all the time.
you're so right.
I know, and thank
I
you
love it,
so
Tina.
much. I know, you can use that, girl. Thank you so much for coming. Now, if you go to Anne's website today, that is annefish.net, you can opt in with your name and your email address to be the first to know when her book launches next month, and you will also receive her her free risk formation guide to rocking 2016. Again, just visit annefish.net.